You ever spot a mistake by your opponent and wonder exactly how to punish it? A weak pawn, an awkwardly placed piece, these small flaws can decide the game. Stick around, the final puzzle will show a shocking way one tiny mistake leads to the destruction of the game. As for right now, it's time for me to drop you 10 seconds. So you see the 10 seconds in the corner? This is white to move, white to play. Beginning in 3, 2, 1. Go! Oh, there it is. How'd you do? Did you solve it? Make sure you let me know in the comments down below. How good are you at spotting, exploiting structural, positional, and tactical weaknesses in your opponent's position to gain advantage and turn it into victory? Well, that's what we're working on today. So welcome back to day 25 of elevating your game with 303 tactical chess puzzles. I'm vryBot, a US certified coach and international expert, and your tactical coach today. Every system, every plan, and opponent has a weak point. A gap in defense, a flaw in logic, or a blind spot waiting to be used by you. Today's goal is to spot those cracks fast and turn them into opportunities. Stay with me. All of these puzzles are designed to challenge how you see the flaws in your opponent's camp. And if you want a personalized plan to exploit weaknesses in your own games, I offer one-on-one coaching. Details are in the description. Hope you spotted the major weakness in Black's position in this puzzle here. That's this knight hanging out over here. He looks perfectly safe. He's guarded by the queen, but go ahead and take it and then look down the line, see what happens. Did you find this? Knight takes, check. Hitting the king and the rook. So I think that's going to have to be snapped off, don't you? But we got these knights. Both knights were in the fray, and here we have another check doing the same thing. We're going to be a whole piece to the good at the end of the exchange. Capture, we've got a knight, they don't. Now 10 seconds for all of that? I think it's feasible. But how did you do on the bonus puzzle for last video? It wasn't exactly easy now, was it? In fact, once you use the computer for some analysis in this position, it keeps throwing out the move knight h5. Knight h5, knight h5. You just can't get around this move. It's in almost every variation that you go down. But what the authors wanted us to know is that pawn takes, if pawn takes, rook takes, queen takes. And it's not about a knight trapping this time or any funky business like that. It's simply about bishop takes h6. Trying to get this pawn to lure away. Or removing the defender, for instance, of the knight on f6. It might be a bit hard to argue that winning a pawn here isn't very nice, but when another move is just screaming to be played, such as knight to h5, we can't simply ignore it. What happens is that on knight h5, everything is pointed at the king here. It's just super nasty. We play queen f7, and we'll pick up the knight later anyway if we want to, or we can continue just crushing through. How's that for a nice long calculation? If you actually went down that line, you must tell me in the comments. So now it's time to have just a little bit of fun with the position for once. How about that? How can you say, vryBot, that white is having any kind of fun in this position? Look at this. Everything is slamming down on our king. We're in so much trouble, we have to almost resign. Don't resign yet. Now, we have this cool resource of pushing the pawn, which would open the bishop on the king, but immediately the rook's going to snap it off, and that won't work. Even if rook takes, queen takes again, we just hang our queen because our pawn is pinned. So let's get those arrows off the board and let's take another look. I want to use this, but there must be more to it. When I get here, I'll guard this square. For the moment, he'll be in check. If I could push one more time, that's actually one of those dovetail mates. Seems the only other thing I have going for me is that I have the open file, But I have 0 defense around my king, so I've got to go all in. Let's cash the chips in. If bishop takes, this works, because check, he can take, but then I get the queen and its mate. So let's go back. Black can stay alive for just 1 moment longer with rook takes. Rook takes. There's no other move but to capture, so takes. Push with the check. We've just lost our entire army. It's going to be one piece versus the rest. But guess what? We win. Every misplaced piece is a crack in the dam. So stick around. In fact, the final puzzle shows an entire collapse of the position. But here, we just have a misplaced king for black. What's the big deal on that? He's walking towards us. This guy's got a mate threat. But don't worry, this puzzle isn't very hard at all. All you gotta do is give the first check that you find. It's a really cool check. King drops down, and then you have your choice. You could play rook takes, pawn takes, and queen takes with mate coming. Or you could play queen takes first. It's just as fun. It might be even more fun. Check. And mate. Wait, I have my choice again. How about this mate? Wait. Do I have any other mates? Sure. That move just lets black breathe longer than he needs to. Are you still with me? Perfect. The next few puzzles have really easy to spot weaknesses. So, let's jump on that. Here we go, bishop to c4. And sure, they can give us the bishop. But that's just entirely free, thank you very much, due to the knight's outpost on f4. So let's go back. It's a fine check. Rook blocks. Seems simple enough. Now, why am I trying to block this? Well, here's what happens on king pops over. Knight to g6. Queen to h3. Bishop to h6. And the dovetail mate. With a little help from our friend, the bishop. So we need to back up. Bishop to c4, put something in the way, but then queen takes, simply removing this defender off the file. Isn't that nice? Because now we want to work the pinned piece. This piece is pinned. As soon as he put it in the way to build a fence for his king, well, that very moment he self-pinned. So what I've done is I've found a way to open up my rook and attack it a second time. Any more attackers I can get in there are great. Now, the authors had me doing all kinds of other craziness. Okay, this is a perfectly winning position, very solid, continue to grind. Now, if we go back and take a look at what the answer key said, I was grumpy to say the least. It was bishop takes, which is another line, queen takes, which is another line, and knight to d5, heading into c7 to trap the rook. But does the knight really ever escape that situation? I'm not so sure. Anyways, what a long line for less material. So something to notice, sometimes we can save ourselves a lot of hassle. Again, we have a huge weakness. Simple to find that we've got to go after this pawn. Black has done a great job of stopping us from playing rook to g6. That would be the most simple, clean, easy way to win this position. But there's rook to h6. And then what can black actually do? If he checks us, our king takes a pawn. What he wants to do is go over here and bother this. And then that's when our rook comes in handily. Both rook h4 will do it, guarding the pawn, or rook e6. So don't blink. The last move shows a brilliant finish that can happen even in a seemingly equal game. And remember, one-on-one coaching can help you spot those patterns in your own games immediately. Now our king is actually a bit free to move. You might wonder how or why, but let's go king at f4 and show off a bit. g2. Okay, are we far? No, we just come back. What we've done is we've exploited the weakness of the rook and pawn defending each other. If the rook moves to clear the way for the pawn to get a promotion, we're always here to take the pawn. The pawn needs a guard. We're also threatening king to f2, which is going to end the situation. Let's just play a move. Not to mention that black is in a zugzwang. So let's just move the king. And we come down. And maybe he gives us check. And we take the pawn. everything's guarded. The authors showed rook to e6, and yes, you could just hold that position and sit there, but I always like to give the opportunity for people to make mistakes. Always give an opportunity for people to make mistakes in your game. Now, my favorite call out to you. Are you still with me? Okay. Exploiting weaknesses isn't luck. It's awareness and calculation. Take this position, for instance. If you didn't notice that you had a mate, then you don't have a mate. If you do notice, then you can figure out exactly how many moves it takes. And there's even two variations here that are kind of fun. We go knight to h6. Black can try to stay alive for as long as possible by going king g7. We're going to use our knight and rook combo, put him in the corner, and then wiggle our rook over here for that Arabian or Arabic mate that we've talked about a few times now. You know what's neat though, is that they might simply just walk into a faster one. How about that? Either way, there's no way for Black to escape his weaknesses. And pros see flaws that are way less obvious than that and know exactly how to attack them. If you want me to personally guide you through those types of scenarios, my coaching sessions are designed to do just that. And can you find weaknesses in your opponent's position even when they're the ones on the attack? Check this out. Queen's obviously harassing our king. In fact, she came in here, did a fork. She's trying to pick up this rook on the next turn. There's not much we can do about it. In fact, there's nothing we can do about that hanging rook. So, Black is looking to equalize the material. Did you do your material count? Did you look for checks, captures, and threats? I hope you're still applying the method in every puzzle. Now, here the only question is, should we move our king or should we play our only available other defending move? Bishop to f1. Bishop to f1 is so good. Queen takes rook. We're gonna play brilliantly, like Misha Tal. We're sacking the queen, baby! Oh no, my queen! Bishop to b5, check. We've seen this again. It's another crisscross Odin's checkmate. Personally, I find that very satisfying, especially when we're under the attack. Time to exploit more weaknesses. I see the queen over here. What is she doing in my position? Again. Now, in my calculation of solving this puzzle over the board, I found bishop to d6. It turns out this move is second best move, and I hit upon all the correct ideas. Now, I'm not going to go down that road because there's an even more clear way and succinct way to destroy Black position. Let's take a look at the quicker winning moves instead. Snap the knight off. Why? Okay, well, if pawn takes, we're going to use our rook to capture a free knight. So, knight takes. Well, we recapture. They recapture again. And bishop to d6 is even better. Yes, in my line it would work out, but the point is the rook can't go to e8 in this line at all. He's just got to save himself or give us the material now. And it turns out it's safe material for us to capture in this position. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to do it. So they move their rook, but then what? Ah, you spotted it. Bishop to c7 is the end result. And then there's no place that the queen can really go to truly harass us and bother us to escape the threat. In fact, she'd have to play something like queen to f6 just to keep contact with the rook over here for a recapture. And that brings us to today's secret puzzle. And I'm upset because I wanted to play this one with you. The authors showed one line. I found a faster way to win. I want to know if you can find the fast way to win. And there are multiple ways to win, but I want to see if you can spot the absolute fastest, most precise, and succinct way to win the game. So again, with secret puzzles, I won't be offering you the answer. So you're going to have to drop your brilliancies down in the comments below where we can discuss and dialogue those together. And that would in fact bring me to the bonus puzzle, which I will give you the answer to, but you're going to have to be patient. I won't be giving the answer until I see you in the next video. But until then, you're more than welcome to drop the answer down below and we can discuss it. If you get it first, just type first and give me your analysis right there. And now you've seen how even small imperfections in your opponent's camp can become tactical gold. But recognizing flaws on the board is just step one. Real skill comes from turning that insight into instinct. And that's exactly what my coaching sessions are built for. We'll break down your games, expose hidden patterns, and build your ability to see weaknesses like a master and strike like a tactician. So how can we do all that? All you need to do is visit vryBot.com, that's VRYBOT.com. Click on services. It will take you to the chess coaching page with vryBot. Sign up or hire me here. Then click on Community tab. That will bring you to the Discord and Communications page. Sign up for Discord and send me a free call, or send me an email from this form right below. So I thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. GG's!